Hello and welcome to ROTOR Live 2026. If you love RC helicopters or just want to know what grown-ups spend their hard-earned money on, then stay tuned. I've got the newest helicopters, the most beautiful scale machines, the best of the flight shows and some showroom chaos for you. So sit back and relax, and I'm going in now.
First, of course, I went around to all the different manufacturers to see what's new from them. I started off at OMPHOBBY.
We are presenting the new M7R here. The model is based on the M7, which has already been on the market for quite some time. We revised the whole concept once again in order to achieve a significantly lighter frame. Ready to fly exactly as it stands here, the helicopter weighs 5.3 kilograms. To make this possible, we made the side frames slightly thinner and reduced the size of the rotor head. The entire lower frame, meaning the lower half of the chassis, is now made of carbon fiber plates instead of a molded carbon fiber part. As a result, the machine is much easier to service in the event of a repair. Otherwise, the model is very similar to the M7. So many parts can be carried over. Of course, there are also new components designed specifically to save weight. The M7R is the ultimate competition machine. All of our competition pilots fly it, including here at ROTOR Live, and have been very successful with it so far.
OMP also had a preview of an AS350 scale model based on the M4 and designed as a 6S machine. So basically 400 size, and with a 3-blade head it probably runs 3 85mm blades. Ready to fly, it should come in at just under 2 kilos. Next up, I headed over to soXos.
Greetings from ROTOR Live. My name is Maximilian Zick, team pilot at soXos, and I'd like to briefly introduce you to the new Paul 7 Nitro, the latest model in our lineup and soXos' first Nitro helicopter. At the moment, it is the lightest 700 class Nitro helicopter on the market. We are talking about a dry weight, meaning without fuel, of 3.7 to 3.8 kilograms. One special feature, as with every soXos, is the canopy mounting system. We have a separate component here with a locking mechanism and pins. You simply place the canopy onto the pins, release the latch, and the canopy is secured. When we remove the canopy, another special feature becomes visible: the fan shroud. We tested this extensively in many different versions. We measured current draw and airflow volume on a test bench in order to achieve the optimum balance between energy consumption and cooling performance. The tank solution is also very clever. We use a stainless steel part with a sealing rubber insert, which is essentially compressed from above with a screw. The whole system is easy to replace and completely sealed, so there will never be leaks in the nitro tank again. Another special feature of this helicopter is the receiver battery tray. It consists of a carbon plate mounted in a kind of canopy rubber holder. It can be removed very easily, the receiver battery can be installed and then secured with retaining clips. It is impossible to lose the battery because the system holds it very securely. The soXos Paul 7 Nitro also features a classic tail linkage with a carbon rod in order to achieve the absolute minimum weight. And why is the helicopter called Paul in the first place? Paul stands for precise, agile, ultra-light. The idea came up during a lively evening when we were trying to come up with a name as a team and had no good ideas. Then we said, Let's just call it Paul. What started as a joke became serious, and now the helicopter is officially called Paul.
After that, I moved on to SAB.
Hello, here are the SAB new releases for 2026. First of all, we have our most high-end model, the Genesis F3C, as the name suggests. This is a high-end F3C model into which a great many innovations have been integrated. Practically every niche is utilized here in order to gain additional points from a technical standpoint in active competition. There is also the corresponding counterpart, the Sport model, which has already been on the market since 2025. However, the Genesis F3C is specifically designed for competition use or for pilots who simply want to have the very best. We have optimized a great many details. This display model does not yet have a motor installed. This can later be mounted with or without an additional support bearing, and with either a 6mm or 8mm shaft. The ESC positioning is excellently resolved and provides very short wiring paths. What makes this model so special are the carbon side frames, which are directly flanged to the aluminum chassis. This is the so-called forged carbon, which is manufactured in heated molds. The brilliant thing about it is that we can manage with fewer parts and achieve a very clean and straightforward structure. On the other hand, the material has the ability to break up resonances at their source, which visibly increases flight smoothness. The flight sound also becomes very sonorous and pleasant as a result. This is combined with a damped mounted tail rotor. You can see it here from the dampers. They not only reduce the noise level, but also absorb the smallest vibrations. All in all, this results in excellent flight characteristics and a unique sound profile. The remaining features have been carried over from the existing models, such as the battery tray with the release push button. You can pull the battery straight out and plug it back in again, just as you already know from the new Goblin series. The kit is completed by the S737 blades, special F3C rotor blades for the current program, as well as 35mm pitch arms. The entire setup is therefore consistently aimed at F3C. As the next new release, still shown here in camouflage styling, later of course in color, we present the new Goblin 590. This is not just a revision of the existing model, but a complete redefinition from A to Z. It starts with the drivetrain. In the current design, we have moved the auto-rotation one-way bearing into the main gearbox. This results in lower friction losses during auto-rotation, which is always an important issue with a 600-class helicopter. In addition, the dimensions of the main gearbox have been significantly reduced. In the current model, the gearbox could indeed be perceived as somewhat oversized, so a slimmer design is a major advantage here. This time, the motor is installed with the shaft pointing upward, and the battery tray works as usual by pulling it out toward the rear. Also completely new in this class are the forged carbon side frames, which eliminate the need for a subframe. They are directly flanged to the aluminum main chassis and, in this smaller model as well, provide smoother running and a noticeable reduction in resonances. Otherwise, it is a Goblin, just as we know it. Availability is planned for early April. Perhaps even a little earlier. The colors have not yet been finalized. The price will be based on the previous model, although it will increase slightly due to the somewhat higher parts count.
Then I had a chat with GOOSKY. Unfortunately, with my very mediocre French skills, I was a bit lost in translation there. So I'll just give you a quick summary of what I found out. The RS7 Ultra has been redesigned almost completely. From the outside, the first thing you notice is a new slim canopy, which is supposed to improve aerodynamics. Besides purple, The canopy will also be available in dark green and orange. The main gear has a larger diameter, and the tooth angle has also been optimized for efficiency and torque. Next to that, you can see the adaptive belt tensioner, which keeps the belt tension at an optimal level at all times. The flybarless platform, as well as a tail boom mount, now feature a new vibration damping mounting system. The new tail has a tail shaft that's 9 mm shorter and almost 10 grams lighter, which should also make the Heli more agile. There was also an update to the S2, the S2 Ultra. The S2 Ultra uses a rotor flight system with an external ESC. The system supports ELRS. Configuration can be done through rotor flight Lua scripts on the transmitter. DSMX and S-Bus systems are supported as well. On top of that, it now comes with full metal servos and carbon fiber, which should give it a lot more rigidity and very precise control. The flybarless system with ELRS support is also used in the S1. After that, I headed over to Tron.
Hello, I'm Joachim from Tron Helicopters, and today I'd like to introduce you to the new Nitron 50 heritage. Here at ROTOR Live 2026, we are officially presenting the final version for the first time. The color scheme you see here, the typical Tron orange, white and black, was designed specifically for the show. However, that does not necessarily mean that the kit version will later come to market in exactly this color combination. That is still being finalized. This helicopter is a complete redesign of our Nitro 50, which we originally released in 2021. Since the 50 size class remains very attractive due to its moderate fuel consumption and manageable costs, we decided to create this new edition. After showing an initial prototype about 8 months ago at IRCHA, we are now presenting the final mechanics here. As for the details, first of all, the entire rotor head has been redesigned and made significantly more robust compared to the previous model. Its dimensions now match those of the 580 or the Dynamic 700. In addition, we have revised the head geometry, which is now extremely linear. The support tube now uses 4 bearings instead of just 2, providing additional smoothness and stability. The design is typically Tron, very slim, streamlined and dynamic. That is a major difference from the old Nitro 50, which felt almost twice as wide. The new shape makes the helicopter faster, more agile, and visually much sleeker. As part of this update, we also optimized the pitch servo arrangement. It is still mounted from the side, but now features an offset aluminum linkage. This allows the servo to sit further inside the frame, which in turn lets us design the canopy much narrower. In the past, the pitch servo was often the limiting factor for the width of the canopy. The entire frame geometry has also been revised. It is now slightly raised, which provides more ground clearance during landing. In addition, the frame now includes new cutouts for various on/off switches. For the landing gear, we use Tron's proven modular system, which is also used on the 580, the Dynamic, and the Nitro 90. One mechanical special feature is the omission of a third bearing block. This makes maintenance much easier. You can simply unhook the belt, loosen the clamping screws, remove the tail linkage, and take out the boom without having to laboriously pull the shafts apart. The main gearbox has been reinforced and the gear ratio has been changed. In addition, the engine is now positioned further forward in order to reduce tail heaviness and optimize the center of gravity. The linkage rod has also been improved to prevent failures caused by engine vibrations. The kit also includes an adapter that allows the installation of micro, MIDI, or full-size throttle servos. A practical detail at the front is the integrated XT60 connector for the receiver battery, which makes the wiring cleaner. The clutch has also been reinforced, and the one-way bearing for the starter shaft has been enlarged from 12 mm to 14 mm. Despite these major mechanical reinforcements, the helicopter has still remained very light, with a bare mechanics weight of around 1,750 grams.
XLPower also had some new stuff on display.
Hi, welcome to XLPower. We're here at ROTOR Live and we're announcing two new helicopters. The first one is the Stratos 200. So this is new to the micro class from XLPower. It has a lot of innovative features that are coming from XLPower. So one thing that we really focus on is the repairability of the micro. Everybody wants to have fun and they're doing a lot of crashing with it. So what we have here is we have a fully integrated motor and speed controller. So the ESC has full telemetry, makes it very easy with very few connections on the model. We then have for the tail boom, to save having to replace the wiring, it's literally plug and play. So the electrical connections are inside. You can plug and play with that. We also, on the motor side, we take the wires to a PCB and we then just take 3 bolts and you can change your motor on and off. So really simple changing a tail boom, no running wires to the front of the helicopter on that side. We're also giving pilots the choice of what fly ballast they would like to use. So if you would like to use Mikado, you have the option to put your Neo or your Evo straight on the front. If you prefer the Radio Master, you can put that on the front too, on the side there. And if you want to take Spirit or something else, we can do something else with that one on that side. We're also showing for the first time that will come with the first models, the AZ195, which is a full carbon blade for the micro size. So it really gives you a really high performance. And later we also have a plastic option if you want a lower cost option there. So we're here with Ra. Ra is the designer and owner of XLPower. So really exciting 1 year in the development, Ra, for this model. A lot of hard work.
Yes, 9 patents on it, and more than 20 times changed.
Okay.
Yeah, we invest so much time.
So the model's going to be available in about 1 month. We're just going to production now. So pre-orders will be available shortly from your XLPower dealer. So take a look at it and see. Okay, so second model being revealed yesterday exclusively at ROTOR Live by XLPower is the new XLPower Stratos 700. This model is still in late prototype design and expected to come out later this year. This is a top-of-the-line model for very high performance, 3D performance and extreme performance on that. So it's going through final prototyping at the moment. It will come out with a lot of innovative design features, but it is not to replace the Spectre. It is a new high level of performance. So key changes here that we see on this model in this redesign is we see a new boom design. A lot of work's gone into this, and we now integrate the push rod for the tail into the bottom of the design, and we have a front-mounted tail servo with it. We have a completely new canopy design. We have a new updated head design, and we have swash followers here. Interesting that they're on the outside, giving more rigidity. We also have a new fully updated tail on the model. So we have larger spindle diameters and tail shaft on the back of the model. You could potentially retrofit the tail to your Spectre later on if you wanted to, but for the rest of the model, it's a new development. So we have a new arrangement of the servos around the main shaft, very similar to what was seen on the Nimbus design, so a very close fit. It also helps us to now make new wiring guide channels, so the wiring becomes very easy, and you can fit your gyro at the back of the helicopter. We've got upgraded main gear and drive system, even tougher, and we have a 9mm tail belt with an option for 10mm for super extreme flying on it. The battery tray now has a small curve in the rails to make a super close fit on it. And we have the one-piece motor mount technology as well on it. So it's going to be super tough model, super extreme performance, and probably out around the middle of the year.
And of course, I stopped by Mikado as well. They were showing the 580 and the 700 again from last year. The 700 is supposed to start shipping soon. and the 580 will follow a bit later. There was also a prototype of a 500 size model with carbon side frames on display. It was still missing a proper motor though, so I'd guess that one won't be coming until at least the end of the season. Or maybe later. Right next door was the indoor flight arena again. And it was being used heavily by pretty much all the brands and pilots. What you're seeing here is the new Stratos 200 from XLPower. And outside there was plenty of action too. Like here at the SAB demo, with Robin Lipke and Henrik Clausen on the sticks. There were one-handed TikToks and also an exciting 3D contest over 2 days, which has now reached a seriously world-class level. The winner, and absolutely deserved, was Keniko from Taiwan. And in between all that, there were loads of beautifully built, incredibly detailed scale helicopters in all sizes. Right here, for example, we are looking at Roland Kaufmann's big Alouette 3. At 32 kilos, it was the heaviest helicopter at the show. I'll be uploading the full flight video of that one in the next few weeks. But there was also a lot for scale fans to discover indoors. At Vario, besides a 5-blade flex-beam scale rotor head for the H45, they were also showing the revised Alouette 2 with a PHT-2 turbine. Next to it stood the new Chinook in the turbine version in an impressive 1 to 7.5 scale. Out of all the amazing scale helis on display, one model in particular really caught my eye. And that was the H145, which is now going to be introduced to you in a bit more detail.
Hello, I'm Philip from PN Exclusive Modellbau GmbH. Today, I'd like to introduce you to this EC145, or, more precisely, the H145D3. We built this helicopter through our assembly service. In addition to our assembly service, we also offer flight training. Furthermore, last year we acquired the company Helitech from Platt Schmidt, and since January we have also become a rotor blade manufacturer ourselves. The basis for this model was a kit from the company Vario, specifically the H145D3. It is particularly distinguished by its 5-blade main rotor head. We invested many hours of work to make the helicopter as true to detail as possible, and I hope we have succeeded in doing so. The model features a complete high-scale interior. The mechanics are installed in the upper dome, so this is what is known as a dome mechanics setup. We also added a ceiling, installed side panels, and designed a new mounting frame for the helicopter. Of course, we offer the model as a kit, but we also have various stages of completion in our product range. The first variant is the basic build. In this version, the helicopter is delivered flight-ready with the mechanics already installed, the mounting frame, and the entire technical setup, but still without paint. The next stage is the flight-ready version, including paintwork. The highest level of completion ultimately includes the fully painted flight-ready helicopter with a perfectly finished scale interior.
Yeah, I really don't have anything to add to that. So yeah, that brings us to the end of this video. And I hope you enjoyed it. As always, I really appreciate a like or a comment from you guys. And I'll see you in the next video, or at the next Rotor Live. Bye.
Vielen lieben Dank, liebes Publikum, erster ROTOR Live 2026.